So it's my pleasure once again with Professor Mujammal Haq sir. Today I will be asking him a very important question. I feel like that I'm one of the disciple of men like Professor Abdul Razak, who was a national professor of philosophy, Ahmed Safa, and actually I have great I owe a great deal kind of what I say depth to people like Dr. Salimullah Khan, who is a teacher of University of Liberal Arts. He was an ex-teacher of Dhaka University's IBA department, and I used to visit him. I also have great depth to Farhad Mazhar. He is also a big philosopher. They do have the political differences, but at the end of the day, they have profound, study about the things. Heidegger, Karl Marx, Engels, Lenin. I used to visit them, but when in my university I found you, I consider myself very much lucky to get a person like you to discuss these things in a broad framework. Today, in fact, I want to be very much applicable in the sense that when you're talking about the imposing of rules and regulations of people in the society. Suppose we're learning philosophy for some kind of reasons, right? We have philosophy department in the respective universities, but at the end of the day, when you're talking about the application of the philosophical knowledge on other disciplines like international relations, like political science, we also learn philosophy. That's political philosophy. Mostly
or social philosophy broadly.
So whenever we are talking about actually ruling or enforcing rules on the people, is it a collective choice of the people? If a specific minority people in the society feels that they're the right one, and they justify their actions on the whole lot of people, like this has been going on across the world. Suppose as a student of international relations, I am very much aware about the things that are going on, and I know the underlying effects of these things. But I am very much fascinated that why some people in the society are always trying to impose their will on other who profoundly and politely disagree with them. Why?
Then what is the way out?
What is the way out?
And you were talking in the earlier video clip that democracy in a sense is a majority rule.
Yes, a majority rule, and it's
but in democratic some systems it could be even minority is dominating the majority. Maybe suppose in the election there are 4 parties, and no party has gone, suppose 40% vote. Suppose someone has got 10%, someone 20%, someone 30%, so and so.
Yes.
Maybe the party who has formed the government, having the highest vote, has got, in our countries it happens in fair elections, 37% vote or 40% vote.
Right.
They are ruling over the rest of the 60.
Right.
Suppose 20 to 30% have not voted.
Yes.
Have not gone to the voting booth.
Yes.
So,
polling centers.
if we want to examine democracy as a system of government, it's no good.
But to some extent,
but the
reality system of governance.
But the reality is that any form of government or any political system has its own problems, has its own constraints and negative aspects.
Perspectives.
So democracy could be better.
Right.
Better.
To some extent.
To some extent.
So
okay.
Most of the time.
And then come to the point that imposing ideologies on others.
I'm talking about not only democracy but about the authoritarian belief systems like
any system,
socialism,
conservatism, or in this peoples are claiming about khilafat. Khilafat is the kind of authoritative and totalitarian system.
We should not be discussing it at all, because there are lots of people trying to radicalize our issues. We should not be actually talking about this thing at all, because it's too much controversial in our country.
You may be afraid of, but I'm not.
It's okay. Fine.
I'm not afraid of, because I have a long background to work as a leader in Islamic organization, and I am from philosophy background. And inherently, I'm a courageous person and truthful. Okay. Anyway, any kind of political system has its own problem. It has prospects and it has constraints. Okay. No system is all good.
Right.
So democracy could be better.
Right.
Comparatively better system. Okay. Then come to the point, imposing the ideologies and norms and values on others. By the person, by the society, by the state, by any authority. Any kind of imposition is bad.
Right.
Inherently bad.
So you want the people to be free
Okay.
and to choose their
Okay.
leaders by who is process.
Okay, but if we take the criticisms of the anarchist, the person who support, who are the proponents of anarchism,
They say that there
state
will be
and
rulers.
authorities take more,
Yes.
and do take more and give less. They are more harmful than less useful.
Yes.
Okay, to let all the people free.
Right.
So we are in a free world.
Right.
But in a free world, who will make, Masood, in a free world, who will make a cell phone for me?
Yes.
I'm a free person.
Right.
In a free world, who will make this shirt for me?
Yes.
In a free world, who will make my wristwatch? In a free world, who will make me a glass to...
If there is consumer demand, there will be producers too.
Then come to the next point. You have concluded the point, consumer demand and economic point of view.
Yes.
To whom I will share my emotions? Who will give affection to me?
Right.
Who will love me? Who is to give me shelter in my depression?
Right.
Okay? And from a female person's point of view, who will take care of my baby?
Right.
If I engage with mating with so many people without identification anyone,
Right.
who will support my baby?
Yes.
Well, in some welfare state will take care, state will give education,
They're talking about commune. They say that-
state will give you everything, but state will not be able to give you mental shelter.
Right.
State will not be able to support the baby what a fathers do.
They say that marriage
what a
is not
fathers do.
necessary. Marriage is not
So
necessary.
family is necessary. So in this line, if you think about, if you free everyone,
Right.
and everyone will accordingly come to the same point,
Right.
they will form family,
Right.
they will form society,
Right.
and on basis of society, the state will be there.
Okay.
So imposition is a must. But whenever you impose something, you do it on basis of two things:
Two things.
consent and rationality.
Okay.
When you form a law on basis of rationality, it's okay. When we rule on someone on basis of his consent,
Right.
when you sit in a bus, in a train, in a vehicle, and the driver goes this way turn, or this way, or brakes or speed, whatever he does,
Yes.
according to his consideration,
Right.
we don't interfere,
Right.
even if we don't like it.
Right.
So in a world where there is the world is such that nobody has all the things that he or she is in need of, then they must come to an organization in a system. And if you come to a system and organization in a small scale, it will be a family, and families will come together.
Right.
It will form a society,
Right.
and societies, the different societies, will evolve to the state system. It's a must.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, and thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much.